Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, if it's evening time where you're at. Welcome everybody to the deep dive into Intuit Sign for Profile. If you want to flip to the next slide, please. Thank you. My name is Ranjana Kaur. I am a sales leader here at Intuit Canada, specifically in the Profile and ProTax group. And alongside me, I have...
Hi everyone, Dustin Schisler here. I'm the product manager for Profile Canada. Thank you all for joining today. It's going to be a fun webinar.
Dustin and I are very excited to have this webinar with you all. This is something that we've been waiting for a very long time with Intuit Sign, and we're really excited to present as to what's to come and what has come as well. So if you just want to flip to the next slide, please. Thank you. So agenda items, we've gone through introductions. That is now done. You know who I am, you know who Dustin is. We're going to be going over the webinar details, as well as a demonstration done by Dustin, which we'll be setting up. We'll be going through setting up the Intuit Sign user side. We'll be setting up the client side of Intuit side, and then also the user dashboard. The user dashboard is my ultimate favorite, so please make sure you stay tuned for that as well. Then we'll be doing a live Q&A, and if you do have any questions during that time, please do use chat, and we do have our chat support agents that will be responding to you via chat. And if you have any live questions during that time frame as well, during the live Q&A session, Dustin and I will be there. And then at the end, we're going to be wrapping up. Although we've booked a full hour for this, we may be just under an hour, but we have the full hour if anyone does have any questions. You ready,
That's
Dustin?
right. I'm ready. Let's rock.
All right, let's do this. All right. So just if we could go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So just from webinar details, as most of you probably know, you will be earning 1 CPD credit for this participation in the webinar. So you do have to be here from start to finish. We have our care agents answering questions and live in the Q&A chat. Thank you for that support team, as well as a copy of this webinar will be emailed to you within a week from our teams. Next slide, please. Fantastic. So I'll be going over some key features of Intuit Sign before I pass it over to Dustin. So essentially when we wanted to create Intuit Sign, Dustin, do you remember? This was over like a year ago.
Yeah, it was.
We were hearing constant feedback from our accountants that this is a problem area for us. We're spending thousands of dollars with different companies out there, paying envelopes. It's not seamless. It's not operationally efficient. And we need something within the product. So we heard you guys and we listened, and now we have Intuit Sign, which we're really excited about. So all your work is in one spot. You're being able to request your client signatures and take action without even leaving Profile. And now I remember how much work and hours were put in from our product and development teams, our go-to-market teams to really develop this product. And we really did leverage a lot of the feedback that you guys had provided us. Our thought here is to obviously simplify and protect the signature request, which is the most important thing. We want to stay compliant with CRA requirements, which we are, and then also sending unlimited requests. This is a big one, team, because there's a lot of competitors out there that may choose it. That may charge you per envelope or per request that's being sent out, also per user as well. We wanted to make sure it was an easy, seamless process for your clients as well. So when they get the request in, it's a quick sign for them. And you're able to take the request in real time. You no longer have to wait X amount of time to send over the request. And the best part, and this is where the dashboard comes in, so I'm hoping most of you stick around for that, you'll be able to see, create reminders and expiry dates for your request. Someone like myself, I forget to do things on time. I don't know about you, Dustin. But
all
getting
the time.
like, oh, you have this to complete, or you have this training to do. Getting those reminders definitely do help. And you'll be able to do that with your customers as well, making sure that you're on top of your work.
Yeah, and just to pile on to that, Ranjan, I don't know if anyone has on the audience here has worked with Intuit before, but we do a lot of customer-driven innovation, and we speak with our customers, and we build and design things that will work for you, our customers. And so we do know that security and compliance are the number 1 and 2, maybe the other way around, but the 1 and 2 things that are most important. I think you'll find that when we go through the demo that we have covered, the security aspect of it, as well as helping you stay compliant with CRA requirements. And just to touch on what Ranjana said about sending unlimited requests, you purchase Intuit Sign for your firm, and it works across the modules for all your users. So we heard loud and clear that this can get very expensive if you're using alternatives, paying per envelope, per user, cost, it adds up. So the idea here is that we want to provide a cost-efficient signature solution that's built right into product and save you some time and some money.
Yes, thank you for saying that, Dustin. Without further ado, I think you're up next for the live demonstration. So if we just want to move to the next slide, and then I know you'll be taking over to showcase the demo as well.
Yeah, let me, I'll just, while everyone takes a look here, let me just share my screen and we'll hop right into it. So you'll probably recognize what's on my screen here. This is in fact ProFile, you are correct. And what I'm gonna show you today is how to use Intuit Sign. So there's a few different steps. We're gonna start by going through how to connect to Intuit Sign, how to make a request. Then we're gonna show you what the client or your end client experience will look like to sign the document and send it back. And then we're going to take a look at what Ranjana referred to as the dashboard, which is where you can kind of track everything that's out there, as well as completed signatures. So let's rock and roll. So first off, assuming that you already have an Intuit Sign license, I do have mine that's added within my managed license section here that you'll see. So once you are an owner of an Intuit Sign license, you can enter that in here along with your license for your tax year. Now, one thing to call out is the Intuit Sign license does need to be the same tax year as the Intuit product that you're using, but it is backwards compatible. We currently allow usage on the 2022 T2 forms, and going forward, it will be backwards compatible to a certain degree. We'll have some more information to share about that as well. So here I am in my account. You can see I do have a return that I've started. And so what I can do is if I click on File and go down to e-signature, you're going to see there's the Connect option. This may look familiar if folks are using Adobe Sign or DocuSign, which are integrations that we currently offer for e-signature as well. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in and connect my account. You just put in your email address, then you get a 6-digit code. I'm just going to check my phone and make sure I get that code, and I'm going to put it in. Okay, there's code. Okay, so now I need to select the company that I made the Intuit Sign purchase with, which I'm going to do right now. Hopefully everyone else doesn't have a huge list of companies like this, because there is quite a few. This was created under Tattoos by Dustin, so I'm going to go ahead and click Connect Business. Okay, you can see that I'm connected. I'm going to hit Finish here. And now if you take a look at the integration options, you'll see there is an option for Intuit Sign here. I'm going to click Connect. Okay, and now I'm connected to Intuit Sign.
That was quick.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad at all. It's pretty quick. I think that everyone will find that actually making a request is pretty quick as well. But I think that's partially why we mentioned that we might not take the full hour, because it's pretty easy to use. It's pretty easy to learn. It's pretty easy to sign. So why don't we hop into it? I'm going to request a signature. So I'm just going to use the return that I'm working on here for Shavana, who is a trusted colleague of mine. So I've started inputting some information on her return. Let's, hypothetically pretend that I've completed her return and I want to collect a signature on a T183 form, so I can file this bad boy. So I'm going to go ahead and click File, and go down to e-signature and collect e-signature. This is going to bring up the e-signature widget. So from here, I can request an e-signature on many different documents that we currently have supported. So you'll see in my list here, there's a T183. I'm going to go ahead and choose that. I'm going to hit Next. Alrighty, so we can see here in my list of selected documents, I have the T183. I can take a look at it if I want. I can change my mind and click delete if I want to, but why don't we go ahead and complete this request? So I'm going to hit Next. As you can see here, I pulled in the information from my personal tax return that I started. So my client, all their information got pulled into the request based on what I have in the return over here. And it's very important that at this stage you confirm with your client what their information would be. So that would include the mobile number, first name, last name, current address. Now, the reason this is important is because obviously we're sending sensitive information, right? It's personal information that we don't want going out to anybody else. And so in order for your client to validate that it's actually them looking at the document, this does get authenticated against their phone record. So you want to make sure that you have the right name, address, and phone number. We currently are supporting Rogers, TELUS, and Bell mobile carriers, as well as some subsidiary companies within each of those. And we're working on bringing some more mobile carriers into the fold as well here too. Some more information on that to come. So once I've confirmed my client details, this looks good, I can preview what the email will look like. And it's telling me that I don't even have to type the client's name, and I can just leave it as client name, and it's going to autofill that for me. So another great time saver, which is pretty cool.
Their address needs to be the same for their tax return as it is for their mobile number as well.
Well, the request needs to be the same. We're trying to save a step by pulling the information on the tax return, but some people may have an alternative name registered with their mobile provider, which you can update and change here. You can edit all of these fields. So if yeah, exactly. So it's just in an attempt to save everyone some time from having to type all this back in. But you know, if somebody had their maiden name on their mobile device, you could update it here, and they'll be able to authenticate.
Oh, fantastic. And once it authenticates, then it kind of goes back to the tax return as well.
Yeah, so this information, if you if you put in an alternative last name, it's not going to auto update that on the tax return. So you don't have to worry about it changing the name that you have on file within the return. So you can use this just as a form to authenticate through the phone device.
Fantastic. Thanks,
All right. No problem. So you can also, you know, everything here is editable, but again, we're trying to pull some standard templates in to make things easier. You can update an alternative subject line. You can change the email message as well if you want to make it a bit more personal. This is just a standard template that'll auto-populate each time to try and save you some time from having to write that out. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And this is going to bring me to the reminders. I love this section. Every customer that we've talked to so far really likes this too. It removes the cognitive burden of trying to track down your clients. Hey, did you sign this? Did you get the email? When are you going to sign it? I need it by this date. This will really reduce the effort to communicate with your clients and go on autopilot. So as you can see here, you can differentiate when you want to send a reminder. More importantly to that, I'll just jump down here, is you can actually make the request expire. This is a great feature to make sure that there isn't data sitting out there that someone could access. If you sent it to, say, the wrong email, or the client got a different link from you that they were signing, the link will auto expire within 14 days, which is great. This is something that you can manipulate and change to whatever you see fit as well. Again, these are just kind of standards that we're using, but all of these can be alternated. You can even uncheck some if you prefer not to actually send reminders. So you can set your expiry date, you can set a reminder. You can accelerate the reminders after the first one if you like here. And then you can also give the client a warning, you know, 1 or 2 days before the expiration date comes up. So a lot of different options here to kind of customize how you want to communicate auto-magically with your clients.
I remember talking to a customer, Dustin, before we launched Intuit Sign, and they had a dedicated headcount during tax season and there was a different tax e-signature solution that they were using to just focus on this aspect, to chasing the customers that have not signed it. And I remember we really took that in and saying, okay, how can we automate that, and making sure that we're making not only the customer, like the client, be aware when they have to sign, but also our accountants and tax preparers, and making their time a bit more efficient on that stance. So like we really may have removed a, you know, a headcount, not a headcount, but like bandwidth with certain tasks that you may have given to your teams, which is good.
Yeah, it can certainly save some time and allow the firm to focus on other more important things instead of menial tasks that no one really likes to do, as well as if you're paying someone to do them, you're going to save some money there as well. We do have another really cool time saving feature that we learned about through speaking with customers before building this. I'm just going to tease it for now, but I'll show you when we get to the dashboard part. It's really cool. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit next. And now I'm going to get one final chance to do a review, make sure I have the right address, I have the right document, my reminders are set how I want to set them. Here's the preview of the email that I mentioned, so you can see what your client's actually going to get and what it looks like. Okay, so now if everything looks okay here, I'm going to go ahead and hit send. Okay, and that request was sent. That's it. That's all you have to do. I mean, I've done this a few times before, but my first time doing it, I literally sent the request within a few minutes. So it's really quick and easy to do. Okay, so I'm going to close that off. Yep, sorry, Branjana, go ahead. I think you're going to say something.
Oh no, there was a few folks
Okay.
that were asking in the chat, how is the customer viewing it? And I think we're getting into that now.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Team, and I know there was a few questions surrounding that. So we'll be showing how your customer views it, how they get the text message and emails, and then how they're able to sign it as well.
That's right. All right, so we'll go into the signing flow here. So I did have Shavana send me the email request so I can show you guys what the signature process will look like. So I'm just going to jump into that here. Okay, so you can see that here's the email. It says review and sign. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Okay, and you can see here, let me just expand this window a bit. Okay, and you can see here that as soon as I click on the link, it says that we texted a code to enter here. Shavana has gotten a code to enter. And so the beauty of this is it's a one-time password for your client. And so what this does, there's no need to set up an account. They don't have to create an account, remember their password from last year, sign in, or forget their password, reset the password, create a new password. It's just a one-time password with our solution, which makes this a lot easier for your clients. And speaking with customers, we know that can be a struggle with some folks actually accessing their documents once they get sent the link. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. All right. So I have successfully passed authentication because the information used matched my cell phone record. So now you can see here, I can see the T183 form that I've been requested to sign. So I'm going to take a look and do a quick review. I can jump through pages here if you have multiple documents in an envelope to sign. I'm going to take a look at my T183 here, just make sure that everything looks okay. Okay, I think that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and check this box. And now I can e-sign my document. So I'm going to click e-sign document. Okay. Type my name in. I'm pretending I'm Shavana at this point, so bear with me. Type my name in. I'm going to hit apply. Now you can see the document has been signed. And if I hit the send button, it's going to go back to the tax professional, which is also me, in order for me to view the signed document and keep it on record. So when these documents get sent back, as the tax preparer, it is stored in the cloud and it's stored for 7 years, which will keep you compliant with the CRA requirements for document storage.
And also it timestamps it as well, which is a huge thing that our accountants wanted to make sure. It timestamps at the top when Shavana has opened it up, where it says at the top right there, and then also when she has signed the document at the bottom when she signed it as well, to the exact second.
That's right. That's right. And this was another time-saving benefit that was developed based on conversations with customers. Similar to what Ranjana mentioned before, we spoke with a customer who was literally paying somebody, a full-time employee, to just port over the timestamps on each of these documents, which, you know, nobody really wants to do that, especially in tax season, especially if you're paying somebody to do it. So, okay, so this is the client experience. I'm just going to close this off, and just to bookend this, like that is it. That's all I have to do as the client. I've signed my document. I have the date and timestamp automatically populated. I didn't have to do any of that myself. As soon as I complete, I send it back to the tax professional, and then we're ready to file. So I'm going to go ahead and just close this off. And now that I'm back in my profile account, I'm going to take a look at the dashboard.
And this answer your question, Omar. I see it. That is there a way to track stuff that's been sent, waiting on a signature, what's been signed, and what's been expired? We're going to be going through that right now, Omar, through the dashboard where Dustin's going to be showing that.
Yeah, thanks, Ranjana. So I'm just going to open up the dashboard here. And if you take a look at the dashboard, you can see I have the list of every signature that I've ever sent out. You know, just ignore some of the red because we've been doing some internal testing here. But if I take a look at, say, for example, this one here, the T183 that I sent to Shavana the other day, I can actually download the file or I can view it, the history. So if you click Show History, it's going to give you a view on the chain of events that happened. So we can see that the envelope was created at this time. Here's where we sent it. Here's where it was received. Here's where the signature was completed. It'll also give you an envelope ID if we need to do some troubleshooting internally as well. And then not only that, but you can also download the file if you want to. Now, again, like I mentioned, it's stored in the cloud, staying compliant with the CRA. Some folks may want to download a copy for themselves, or at least take a look and make sure that it looks as expected. So I'm going to go ahead and click download here. It's going to download them to my documents folder. And just so I'm just going to open this up here. Okay, so now you'll see I have the T183 that I can take a look at. I'm just going to open this up. This will be my signed document. Apologies, it's opening in a browser. I don't have a PDF viewer in my virtual machine here. But as you can see here, I have the document, got my signature, got the date stamp and the timestamp to the second, which is a requirement from the CRA. So we are compliant. I have this, it's on record, it's on file in the cloud, but I can also download a copy to my local hard drive as well. Then of course, we have a certificate of authentication that comes with each signature. And so what this does is it will provide you with some additional confidence that this was signed by the right person. It has an IP address stamping, as well as some chain of events as when it was sent, viewed, and signed, and when that recipient was verified. And that'll be attached to each file that comes back to you as the tax professional. That way you have a certificate of authentication to prove that it was the right person that had completed the signature. In the dashboard, you of course can see the history for folks, and you know, if there was somebody who was an outlier and they hadn't actually signed their document yet, you can resend it from here as well.
Awesome. So you can as needed.
That's right. You can sort your dashboard by the status as well as last activity, so you know which ones require action. Keep in mind that I have set some auto reminders for these clients, but if I want to, I can come in and send a manual reminder. So I could come in here, click send reminder, and it's going to prompt me. I just hit OK, and it just sends the reminder out for me, just like that, 2 seconds.
Fantastic. And also showcases her. So the individuals that have not signed it, does it say sent as well, or does it say?
Yes.
Okay, so it says sent, but it's marked in yellow.
That's right. And if it's been sent and they opened it but didn't sign, that would be a different status. I don't have any here to show, but it would be in progress. In progress. So there's a different status for each stage, so you can understand where your client is in the process.
All right. Before we jump into the Q&As, Dustin, how much does all of this cost?
Great question, Ranjana. So Intuit Sign currently is only $120 Canadian. This works across the entire firm, so unlimited users. It does also come with unlimited envelopes, so you pay that 120 bucks. That's all you pay. There's no additional cost. We have free support included with our awesome ProFile team as well. And so this would be an annual license similar to the tax modules. So you need to repurchase each year if you want to continue using it for the new tax year. But again, we tried to make a very low cost and affordable solution that doesn't keep adding cost to your pocket when you're expanding, using additional envelopes, or having other users send and maintain requests.
Fantastic. And that's right, 120 for your whole form itself. That's not per user, that's not per return itself. So it is an astronomical savings. And Dustin, what forms do we currently support and what forms are coming as well?
Yeah, good question. I didn't pull the list up in front of me, but we do offer support for all the critical authorization forms for T1, T2, T3 is coming very soon, as well as Revenue Quebec forms, and French is also coming very soon. You can find the full list of forms available on the website for Intuit Sign as well. They'll be listed out there. I didn't pull them up in front of me though.
Can we jump back to the deck now if we can to slide
Yeah.
slide we were at? Fantastic. Alrighty, so questions for the team. Anyone wants have any questions, they're more than happy to ask us before we also jump into our winter sale details that we're running. So I'll ask you a question while someone may want to hop in. So one of the questions is for the mobile phone carriers. The first part of that question is, why is it only specific to those mobile carriers? And then the second part of that is, what if an individual is on a family sharing plan? So there's one name on the account, but it's not their name. Are they still able to do the filings as needed?
To answer the second question, Ranjana, yes, they definitely can. It's just the information for the request needs to match the member of the family plan that's on record with the mobile billing account, but it will definitely work. And to speak to the first question about mobile carriers, so we currently are offering support for Bell, Rogers, and TELUS. This does provide 87% coverage across Canada, but we do know that there are other provinces that have more concentration of additional carriers, and we're working with our identification team that this authentication process is built by to expand that coverage to more and more users across Canada. We are just getting started, but we do have the three major carriers covered to start with.
Another question there is that will there be additional documents such as engagement letters to be added before tax season? This is from Jennifer.
Great question, Jennifer. Thank you. I can't comment on the timing per se, but client letters we definitely understand is a top request from customers. We're working through some logistics on being able to deliver that, but no timing just yet. But please understand it is definitely on our radar as something that we know we need to deliver on at some point. So that is coming, but I just can't speculate when just yet.
And what if our client does not have a cell phone?
Yeah, so there is going to be some edge cases where this may not work for all of your clients. If you are using Intuit Sign and they don't have a mobile phone or mobile carrier, they may need to sign in person with a wet signature, or you could explore one of our alternative solutions that we have for signatures.
All right. There was a question, will this be integrated with ProFile T2s?
Yes, so the demo was in the T1 module, but this was built for T1, T2, and T3 modules. So it will work effectively across all three in ProFile. T3 is coming soon, but it is currently live for T1 and T2 right now.
Alrighty. There's a few questions about being able to send multiple forms at one time for a customer. I see a couple of questions. Dave has it. Dave has that question, a few other individuals. How does that look like?
Yeah, so we wanted to get this out as soon as possible to folks, and so we have launched. Currently, you can only send a single document in a single envelope. If you need to send, say, 3 documents, you can send 3 envelopes with 1 document in each. But in the coming months, you will see an update where you will be able to add multiple documents to the same envelope. As well, we are going to be delivering on the ability to send an envelope to 2 people. So say you wanted to get a signature on the T1032 for split pension, you'd be able to, using a linked account where you have a spousal return, you'd be able to send 1 envelope to both parties at the same time for a signature on the T1032. Hopefully that answers the question for you.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry, I keep asking you the questions. I know the answers to some of these too.
Quite all right.
Oh, but Shelly has a question, and she said, when you say cloud, do you mean the hub?
No.
Okay, fantastic.
No, I'm saying no right away. No, not in the hub. This is a different cloud server that's hosting the signature documents. So it's not in hub. No.
And Enrique, you had a question. Are the date and time shown on the document as the client signed it automatically done? And Dustin was able to show through
Yes.
the demo. So the answer is yes.
Yeah, as soon as they click sign document, like after they type their name in, like I showed you in the demo, and they click that apply button to sign the document, it records the date stamp and the time stamp as well.
I cannot pronounce his name. I'm going to try. Tasi Gan has a question. And what happens when multiple documents are sent on our client side? How does that look like?
On the client side, yeah. So essentially the way that would work is they would, and the apologies, I can't demo that just yet because we're not live with multiple documents in the envelope. But what it would look like is exactly what I showed you, but there would be multiple documents in the envelope. You can review the documents and then you'd have to sign each one. The name itself typing in would be persistent, so you don't have to keep retyping your name, but you would have to apply the signature to each document, and then you can click once to send it back to your tax pro. When that gets sent back to the tax pro, there would be a PDF sent back for each of the documents individually, as well as an individual certificate of authentication for each signature.
Alina has a question saying, how will I be notified when the T183 is signed?
Well, if that's the document you put in your envelope, you will send it to your client and they will sign it. And then you would have to check the dashboard to see when it's completed. We didn't set up, email notifications because during tax season, that could get pretty daunting to get a bunch of emails throughout. So you would have to monitor the dashboard and just check in and see.
Font Home Gardens has a question. Interesting one. Can you use this for other items that have nothing to do with ProFile or TurboTax?
Yeah, good and fair question. The way this is built, it is integrated with ProFile. If you go and purchase the Intuit Sign for ProFile license, it would only work with ProFile. So short answer, no. It only works with ProFile currently.
And I think you answered this, but Suki Josh has a question. How long are the sign forms stored in the dashboard?
7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
And Peter Lindup has a question. Can you attach a copy of the tax return to the email as well?
Not at this time. Not at this time. But definitely something that we're looking into.
And Margaret, I see your question. Is the cost per year? Yes, the cost is per tax year. And it includes all the modules that you'll be purchasing underneath your firm. All right. The client needs to have a cell phone. Yeah, sorry. There's a lot of duplicate questions. Will we have authorization forms as an option to be sent in Ontario and Quebec? And this is from Susan.
Not sure which authorization forms you mean per se, but a majority of the documents that are currently supported are authorization forms. So T183, T1032, T185, etc. There are Revenue Quebec forms coming soon, and those will be added as well. So if you do service clients that are in Quebec, or you want to use the Intuit Sign in French, those will both be supported as well.
Hey, Dustin, I'm getting this question a lot is,
Mhm.
are we able to use this e-signature platform for other documents separate to tax from profile perspective? Some customers are comparing it to their current tax solution that they may have of DocuSign and Adobe Sign. So maybe
Yeah.
you can a lot of repeat questions on that.
Yeah, yeah, and understandably so. So currently, we do have our coordinates are static, so we're using regulated forms from the CRA because the signature location is in the same spot each time, year over year. However, we are looking into adding an ability to client letters per se, and looking into this ability would introduce a drag and drop functionality similar to DocuSign, where you can drag and drop your coordinates to where you want the signature to be. And once that capability is delivered, the potential to use this for other documents outside of our set would be there for you.
And another question, if the couple uses the same email address, which is understandable, can we send two files together?
In theory, yes, you could. I think I would need to know a bit more about the scenario, what documents they're looking to sign. But yes, when we launched the multiple signers in a single envelope, they would be signing in sequential order. So the first person would get their notification, sign, and then it would go to the second person. And I do believe that using the same email would be okay for that, as long as they're signing their own documents.
Awesome. And how do clients create the signature when they don't? Is it done via phone, like via mobile or laptop, or they have the option for both?
Apologies, Ranjan, I didn't catch the beginning of that
How do,
question.
how do clients sign the document?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so yeah, good question, which I didn't touch on in the demo. So client can sign on their computer. They could also sign on their mobile device or on a tablet. It works with Mac and Windows for all devices and computers as well, because it's web-based for the signature.
Awesome.
Trying to make it as easy as possible for the end client, so they really just have to click the link, punch in the code, and sign their document, and that's it. So.
And Christine has a question. Can you use email and no mobile phone numbers?
Currently, no. This is for security purposes, that we need to authenticate that it's the right person viewing the documents. So at the current time, email is not necessarily the option to communicate the two-factor authentication we're using for mobile devices.
Question is from Anonymous. Is the $120 mentioned on top of the original cost of profile software? Yes, it is. It is considered an attached product. So whatever modules you decide to purchase for the year with the licenses you purchase, this Intuit Sign will be an additional cost of $120. All righty. Trying to read as fast as I can. Regarding the reminder for clients to sign, if you mark the countdown as 14 days, will you get notified that this person's account is about to end? I think it's in. Sean had this question regarding the reminder for clients to sign. If you mark the countdown as 14 days, will you get notified that this person, meaning this client's account, is about to end? I don't think it's going to necessarily end. It's just going to showcase that their link may expire.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. They don't stop being your client, or they don't get removed per se, Sean. It'll just showcase that the link has expired, so you have to go back in and request that. All right. How do we find out if our mobile company is covered by Intuit Sign if it isn't one of those 3 main carriers?
Yeah, that's a good question. We do have some assets from the care team that has a list of mobile carriers as well as their subsidiary providers. So definitely encourage you to check that out and see if your clients might land in those buckets.
Yeah. And just so you guys all know, in regards to the mobile carriers as well, it's under Rogers, TELUS, and Bell. It covers 87% of all of Canada's mobile carriers. And that number is pretty high. And majority of that gap is actually coming from SaskTel, a mobile carrier in Saskatchewan, as well as another carrier a smaller carrier in Quebec. And our teams are constantly working with them just to ensure that they're going to be added onto our list as well. So if your customer has Kudo, for instance, or if they have Fido, or if they have Virgin Mobile, they'll still be covered because they're under the 3 major mobile providers. A lot of questions like, can we use the same email for the whole family?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if that's their email, that's their email. We just want to make sure that the mobile carrier information is accurate so they can authenticate themselves and sign their document.
And will this be coming out for FX as well? And this is from Brenda.
Currently, no plans for FX. We're just focused on T1, T2, and T3. But you know, things can change, and if there's an appetite for that, then it's something that we'll explore and revisit.
Gurmeet has a question, and her question is, can you have more than one template email message for the different kind of return setup?
Currently, there's just the one template, but we are working on some templates for a future release.
And you're
But
able
currently, just one. But you can, you know, put in your own template there if you like.
All right. One moment. So another question, in many cases, family only have one mobile number. How would that work?
That's a tricky one. You know, it could be that it's a shared resource similar to the email. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know the legality of that. But you know, if you did have somebody that needed to sign a document and they were part of the family, I'm sure that would be an acceptable way to approach it.
And Mohammed had a question. Can we use client's phone on WhatsApp? So if they won't be getting the request on WhatsApp, they'll be getting a text message.
That's right. That's right.
That the WhatsApp would be a third party tool. Will FX forms be available? This question is from Tracy. T4 and T5 summarized as well.
Yeah, so just to reiterate my response previously, FX is currently not in scope. We're focused on T1, T2, and T3 for delivery for now. But you know, like I mentioned, if there is demand for that, it's definitely something we would revisit.
Okay.
I do see a question in here about where the email comes from. It does come from Intuit, so it'll be a do not reply type of email from Intuit Sign, just so you're aware.
All right, couple more minutes, team, before we jump back into the deck. Is there a video available to be replayed at a later date? I'm assuming this is in reference to the webinar. Stephen, the answer is yes. We'll be sending them out to all the attendees that have joined today. And Alina has a question. Is e-sign will be activated in February? Meaning, I'm assuming like majority of the other forms, just before tax season.
Apologies, I didn't follow the question.
Sorry, Dustin. The question
That's
was,
okay.
will it be live with the remainder of forms before February?
That's the plan. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty. Can this work for 2022 T1s or only 2023?
We'll work with 2022 T1s. Yes. Yep.
I have a couple of T2 returns to send today. Am I able to use the e-signature now? This is from Kathy. If you have it purchased, yes.
Absolutely, Kathy. Yeah, everyone, just a reminder, this is live as of right now for both T1 and T2 modules in ProFile. So you can use this today if you wanted to.
All right. Last question, and then we'll jump back into the deck. Is the timestamp based on signing location or sending location? Example, if signed by someone in BC and it's returned to Ontario, what timestamp will the form capture?
Yeah, it's capturing in local time, and that's indicated on the certificate of authenticity.
All right, I think that's it from a question perspective. If we want to click the next slide for the profile winter sale. So we want to make sure that you make the most of our last sale of the season for those of you who have not purchased profile. We don't want you to miss out on saving up to $160 on our profile module. So you can save up to $160 off of suites, $140 off of T1, TP1 plus the T2 bundle, and then also $55 off of the T1 module or TP1 module. You can buy online or at profile.intuit.ca, or you can speak to someone on my team by calling 1-888-291-9548. And just jumping into the next slide, I'm going to pass it over to Dustin.
Yeah, so just to close off, I just want to thank everyone for joining today. Hopefully this was informative for you and was able to showcase some of the cool features that we have with our Intuit Sign product for profile. Wanted to close off on this because feedback is a gift, I always say. I love speaking with customers. You know, we wouldn't even be here talking about Intuit Sign if it wasn't for you, our customers. So please feel free to reach out to myself or Ranjana if you want to provide any feedback or have a conversation about how we can make some improvements. So thank you, everyone, and please feel free to reach out.
Yes, thank you. And we'll just click the next slide. Thank you so much for joining us for the special live webinar that we have for Intuit Sign. Dustin and I had a blast doing it. We always have a blast doing it when we do webinars together, right?
That's right. That's right.
And like mentioned, you'll be getting details provided via email. Again, feedback is super crucial to us as well, so feel free to email us on the emails listed in the previous slide. And we hope to chat with you all soon. Take care.